This is a 2016 Honda CR-V. It comes in many colors. This one's purple or silver. Has wheels. It has AM, FM stereo. It has a car seat in the back because it's family friendly, and lots of room in the back for all your props and all your costumes. Much like my next guest, Chris Stanley, aka Cosplay Chris, the CR-V is family friendly, reliable, and smooth. It is also the only car I have, and I'm still making payments on it, so expect to see this in future episodes if this becomes a thing. This is Geeks in Cars grabbing lunch.
Thank you so much for picking me up.
Of course.
Oh man, how was the drive?
It was actually not unusual for Los Angeles, man.
Dude, traffic's fucked.
It's LA, dude. It's La La Land.
No matter what time of the day.
So the thing about Comic-Con, I didn't go this year. This was the first year in 5 years that I've actually not gotten lucky with the ticket. It's like you talk to like your friends and everybody's set up with their computers.
Multiple monitors.
Yeah. Everybody. It's like a CIA type situation, and we're all like on call with each other. And like, okay, if you get in, you get these two. If I get in, I'll get you and whoever else, whatever. And none of us. It was like 4 people, and none of us got lucky with tickets this year. So I missed out.
Right? Like the whole town gets in on it.
Yeah. There's the Gaslamp district. It's awesome, dude. It's really fun. So even if you don't have tickets, I encourage people to, like, if they can come out, like, come out, man, because it's a good time.
It's an experience. And like when we were finished for the day, because we were staying at, there's this really, I forget the chain of hotels, but it was right on the harbour on the water.
That's fancy.
I think it was the Sheraton.
Oh yeah?
I've been staying at the Sheraton, and you know,
that's like fancy. I can never get that close to the con. I'm always like, I always end up walking and taking the train and stuff all in costume, and I'm always like wearing these elaborate, uncomfortable costumes.
Heat-generating costumes.
Oh my god, it's the worst. You can't sit down.
No.
You can't, like, it's like you're in the train, you're like stabbing people with your props.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We always choose the most elaborate and like the most craziest costumes that just brutalize our body.
I know, man, but isn't it the truth that sometimes the more uncomfortable you are, the more in pain you are, the better the damn suit is. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things to gauge how good your costume is how painful it is to wear.
It's true, man, because you're also thinking about the other side of when you're done and to rip that all off and how good it's gonna feel.
Oh yeah, Comic-Con, it's like I'm training for a marathon, dude. It's like I diet, dude. I exercise, dude. I'm like doing all of this, right? And for the costume, and then at the end of that is when I get to like feast.
Yes.
This time around, I didn't get tickets, so I got sad. I ate a lot, and then right the very last like couple weeks before Comic-Con, a couple friends hit me up and it's like, hey, I got tickets, like, you want to come down for a day? And I'm like, oh no, man, I already like I'm too fat, dude. I don't have a costume, dude. It's like I didn't train for this marathon. All right, man. Well, no coffee today, but this is going to be called, I think, like Geeks, eating falafels and running errands or something like that. I don't know, man.
I like it.
Tentative name. Yeah. All right. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with, you're known in your YouTube channel for your attention to detail, your recreations of costumes that you see in popular movies, as well as original designs, and kick-ass custom collectible series where you turn a toy or a figure into like something that looks like from Sideshow Collectibles. So it's very impressive. How did it all start?
Oh, dude, when I was like 12, 13 years old, like I'd buy DVDs just for the sake of watching the special features of how they made costumes. So the first Raimi Spider-Man was the one that sealed the deal because I was fascinated by that costume because it was beautiful. It was
my God.
seamless, and
Oh
you're
my
watching the
God.
special features. You got Jim Ashton talking
Excellent,
about screen printing. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about, but it was fascinating and it looked pretty. And you know, the ironic thing is, you know, all these years later, I work at ADI last year where they made the spider suit, so it was a nice full circle thing. But yeah, I got into making Freddy Krueger gloves first, and then it kind of escalated from there, and self-taught sculpture, molding, casting, and then I wanted to get into specialty costuming, and then you meet like-minded people that want to do the same, and obviously we've got, you know, cons, not just Australia but worldwide, so you get into that. And then you want to branch out and do your own thing and not follow a certain template, like for example, Pirate Batman. You know, that was something I wanted to do for a while, and it's great.
And that it looked beautiful, by the way. Like,
thank you.
Oh my God, yeah.
You've got nothing. No one can compare it to anything. So you've got free reign creatively, which is like the best feeling in the world.
Definitely.
And then with the custom collectibles, like I'd always wander through Toys R Us or, you know, our equivalent.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. We've got, you know, Target, Big W, Kmart back home, and I'd see all these beautiful toys that have such immaculate hard edge detail, and the paint job is horrendous, obviously, because it's a mass produced toy, which is fair. So I'm like, what if I just give it a crack? So I did the Hulk Buster first just to gauge interest, and then it exploded.
Oh my God.
There.
And you can tell, I mean, you do it because you love it also. Like, you're a geek yourself, you call your audience geek and geekettes, and I mean, it's such a labor of love.
Exactly. Like I always say, the devil's in the details. But no matter what you do, and if it's a costume or a dinosaur, the paint job or the detailing has to tell a story.
And you can kind of see how toys have kind of like improved in that sense. I know Gentle Giant, I believe, was one of the first to do kind of like that laser scanning. So you can see it now in a lot of the toys that it's hidden behind that horrible paint job, but there's some potential.
There's you know, like with Jack Specific, getting all the 3D scans of the actors in the suits from Warner Brothers, and you know, for Justice League and Batman vs Superman and any Marvel stuff, you know, they all scan the actors in and out of the suits, which is great to have for toy companies.
That's
especially
amazing.
like Hot Toys, and obviously Hot Toys are granted access to the costumes. But still having a scan is like vital. That's so like, what do we do before then? You know,
I know,
hand
man. It was just people kind of like looking at pictures and kind of sculpting in, I guess. But it's amazing, man, the stuff that you do.
Thank you, man.
So on YouTube, how long have you been using that platform to share with your...
Nearly 4.5 years.
4.5 years?
Yeah. So originally I was uploading videos of my Freddy gloves about 2010, 2011, and then the channel lay dormant till about 2014 when I started Cosplay Chris. So originally I was Horror Effects Productions, then changed the name to
so you took a
Cosplay
little
Chris.
break and then rebranded.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was just like YouTube wasn't really a thing back then. Well, it was, but I had no interest in it because I had a full-time job, and I'm like, I'll just throw them up there. So
you've exploded within, you know, those 4.5 years as Cosplay Chris, because you have a pretty good clout and a pretty good following. You get invited to cons and everything. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, man. It hasn't come without sacrifice. It's a tough gig.
I noticed. I mean, you put in a lot of time, not only into what you're showing in front of the camera, but like you can tell your actual production value is really good. Like you have an idea, a sense of like, you know, you're setting up these shots in order to do your best to kind of like inform what it is that you're trying to accomplish, right? And you keep it all entertaining and kind of like family friendly as well. So I really appreciate that.
You have to, man, especially when tutorials are concerned, because some can just go off on tangents, and you know, there's, you know, one piece of like a shot that just runs for too long in some tutorials, and I just want to keep it not short and sweet, but just have all the good bits in there, have it be narratively correct in terms of the process, and if I fail, I always make sure to include it in there. It's like, hey guys, you know, if you're not failing, you're not doing it right. That's what I always say. I always include times when I failed, screwed something up, and be like, this is what I did, don't do that.
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about a little bit before, chatting about, you know, like it's like how to draw a duck. It's like you do this circle and then it's like,
what about the in-between?
Duck. I'm guilty of that, very much so. I'm trying to do a little better there too. So we're about to head over to Reynolds in a bit, but before we do that, I want to talk briefly about materials out in Australia, do you have access to a store similar to like Reynolds? Like they have all the resins, the stuff to do your mold making and all that? Because I noticed you do, you use a lot of what you have in the form of like shoe polish. You use your driveway dirt, which is amazing. It's amazing for the weathering. I actually recently did a Titanfall helmet repaint. And I was like, I'm gonna go find some of that good dirt, kind of like Chris.
Found me some dirt.
Yeah, man, and I kind of threw some dirt in there and all that stuff because I'm always like trying to like fake it, but it's like, what if you just like take the thing and just drag it to the ground and see what happens, see how it looks? Yeah.
Just as good.
Yeah. More realistic.
Yeah, we have what's called Barnes back in Australia. That's like our smooth on stuff like that.
Okay.
We can get smooth on back home, but there is such a premium on it because it's imported from the States.
I noticed the shipping is always, not only is it expensive, but it also seems to be very strict when it comes to customs and importing.
Yeah,
and all
especially
that.
with resins and releases and spray, stuff like that. So Barnes pretty much has everything that's smooth on, and Reynolds and BJB or whatever it is. That they're another company that does like urethanes and all that. So my go-to for mold making is Pinky Sil. It's just a molding silicone, and then I use a super cast, or if I want to clear, I use a Bee Queen resin. So we have everything over there, man.
Yeah,
and that's what they use for Aquaman, and they filmed up the coast from where I am back in Australia. They use Barnes stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are your like personal feelings on Patreon?
Well, I just want to make sure that it's all set up so everyone gets what they're entitled to. I have seen some Patreons where it's just like gimme.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that people are getting something, because I still feel foreign to the idea of it. And like with t-shirts, on TeePublic, it's passive income, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to getting my paycheck from YouTube and Etsy and all that, where you have to really work for it.
Where you're working. Right.
But look, it definitely, it will. Part of my Patreon is, behind the scenes stuff that I usually wouldn't put up, or just put in the archives or on the hard drive and forget about it.
Yeah.
So people getting access to kind of just exclusive content.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
For sure. Why don't we take this chat on the road?
Let's do it.
Let's do that. What we were talking about was Patreon.
Yep.
And how the most important thing for you right now is to be able to like have some sort of value, something that you're giving back to your Patreons, right?
Exactly, that's it. I don't want anyone to feel like, there is a $1 tier where it's just to donate. Every little bit helps, and then it goes from there where you can get prints and then shout outs and Skype sessions if you need help with cosplay.
Skype? Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
I had my first Skype session the other week.
You did?
Yeah, it was great. This kid is doing a homemade kind of like mock Kit Bash Spider-Man thing with a hoodie and everything, and it looks great. Justin, his name is, and he just needed some pointers here and there, and I got really excited because it looks great. Like he's onto something.
So you're doing almost like a personal trainer that makes himself available to their clients. Like you're laying out the work on your YouTube channel, and then should they have some questions about their form or whatever, they can hit you up directly.
Exactly.
When they're a Patreon and they get that extra from you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's actually really great. So the reason why I've been asking is it's been on my mind. I've been pondering about Patreon for a long time. What I do want to be able to do is, much like you just said, to be able to offer something to those Patreons, because they're allowing me actually to turn this into my full-time job.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, you can't, I'm so grateful for that. There's no words for me to like express how thankful I am for being able to turn a hobby, a passion into a full-time job at this point. But it takes so much time as well. So that's where I've been concerned, because it feels like Patreon is also a lot of work, right?
You do have to put the work in, and that's why people think, people are just going to give you money. Like, no, offer something back and work hard.
Yeah, you have to kind of show them that you care, right?
Exactly.
Like the way that they're showing you they care. And that's what I really, really want to do. So stay tuned. I may or may not launch a Patreon.
He is.
So Chris thinks I should.
Dude, why the hell not? Like I said, you got to know your self-worth, and when you put so much hard work in and people see that, they want to support you, and that's what it's all about, people supporting you, and obviously you giving back. So don't have the same mindset I originally had where you feel bad. You'll be like, people have asked me about it, so there's an interest, and the same with you. People want to support you for your amazing work.
Yeah, it's like, I'm here, I'm picking your brain, you know, and I'm like, hey man, let me at least buy you lunch. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like the same thing, but for the world, right? It's like, you know, they're buying you that cup of coffee, and then they get to ask you that, like, more specific, more like maybe it's something that you're gonna be able to answer, or maybe steer in the right direction, or say like, hey man, you know what beats me, like let me like try to like find this out with you as well, or that type of thing, right? So that type of relationship is something that I feel has a lot of value for a Patreon. That is it. We almost passed it, so we're gonna look back. So there it is, folks. So big news, Chris has a Patreon. I'm gonna link to his channel, link to his Patreon on this video description. I will very soon open up a Patreon myself, and
good man.
and I'm gonna do my best to kind of offer back the best type of rewards that I can. I'm probably gonna end this video here, and I'm gonna put up on Patreon the video from this point forward where Chris and I are gonna walk around Reynolds, and I'm gonna show him some of the materials that I use on the muscles, those muscle suits that I'm making, and kind of why I use this instead of that type of thing. So that might be helpful for some of you guys thinking about doing similar stuff. So with that being said, I think this video concludes here, and I want to thank you so much. You're such a busy guy, dude. I've been trying to get...
Dude, always got time for you, so I appreciate you having me on this video.
No, dude, and it was kind of like, you know what? I'm almost glad that we didn't get together when we first started talking about like, hey man, let's hang out, because I only thought about this video yesterday.
How good's that? See, a lot of it is spur of the moment.
Yeah, man.
That type of thinking always turns into the best idea.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I was like, man, I'm gonna do a comedians in cars getting coffee version for Geeks with Cosplay Chris today, and it's gonna be gold.
You might be onto something there, man.
Maybe, man. Maybe I'll keep these going. I'll probably do them for Patreon. So
do it.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother.
And let's go to Reynolds.
Check out some stuff.